Alright guys, so now we have our back end and front end running at the same time. Okay, so the command you're going to use from now on is npm run dev. Okay, no more npm run server because that will only run your server. So what I'm going to do is go back to my VS Code. You can see I have the server, I have this stuff running down here, and we're going to just kind of clear things up a little bit, because if we open our client folder and go in our source, there's some things we want to clean up that create React app ads. Like, we don't want the spinning logo, we don't want this layout and all that. We're going to be using Bootstrap, so we'll add that. We're going to be using Font Awesome, so we'll add that. We're just going to kind of get things set up a little bit here. So I'm going to delete the logo SVG. Okay, we don't need that. And then down here you're going to see a build error because it's looking for that file. So we want to go to app.js, which is our main, basically our main app component that will hold everything else. But it's including that logo SVG file, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, and then in the render method here, we're going to just get rid of everything that's in that main div. Okay, and then we'll just say, let's put an H1 here, and we'll just say my React app. Okay, so we just want to clear out all the boilerplate stuff. Now we want to leave the link to app CSS. This is actually where we're going to put our own custom global CSS, so we'll leave that. But let's go ahead and save this, and now you should see that it will recompile. Yeah, so if we check our application now, it just says my React app. Now it's centered and stuff because of that apps.css file. So if we look at that, we want to get rid of everything here. And then what we'll do is let's open up our dev connector theme. We're going to be going back and forth from our theme file. Let me just grab that real quick. Let's see. 1 second. Okay, so we have our theme here, and I'm going to just grab from CSS, we have that style.css. I'll go ahead and just open it with Sublime. You can open it with whatever you want, and this is our global CSS. Okay, and it's just basically the landing page, the overlay, things like that. Profile image, we're setting the width and stuff like that. So just very basic stuff. We're going to grab this and copy it and then put that in this app.css. Okay, and we'll save that. All right, now right here it's saying you attempted to import image showcase JPEG, which falls outside of project src. Basically, it's outside of our source. So what we're going to do is just get rid of one of these dots so that it's looking in the source folder, because that's where we currently are. All right, and then what we'll do is create an image folder in here. So let's say new folder, img, and then that's where we want to put our showcase image. So we'll go back to the dev connector theme, and let's grab from the image folder the showcase. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to put that, let's see, can I paste that right in here? I've never tried that. Alright, I guess I can't do that, so I'll just go to it through my Explorer. So it's on my desktop, dev connector. We want to go in the client, source, img, and we're going to paste that in. Alright, so now that error should now go away. Yeah, and that'll go away. If you want to restart it, Control C, npm run dev. It's going to run both the back end and the front end, and everything should be fine. It's going to, every time if you rerun it, it's going to open up a new tab. Let's see, module not found. So it's still not being found. It's because it's still looking at 2 dots here. Why is that? Should be just 1 dot. That's strange. Cache maybe? No. Did I not save this? Oh, I didn't save it. I didn't save the CSS file, so that should actually work now. There we go. All right, so you can see that that default styling where it made it centered, that's gone. We replaced all of this global CSS with our own. All right, so let's close that up. We shouldn't have to come back to this page, I don't believe. So we can close up that CSS file. Now let's go to our public folder, open the index.html, and we want to bring in Bootstrap. All right, now I'm just going to be using the CDN. If you want to install it with NPM, you can do that, but I'm going to use the CDN for simplicity, and it should also give us a little better performance. So let's go to our browser. Actually, I can close this up, and we can close that up. Let's go to our browser, and let's go to getbootstrap.com. And we'll go to get started, and I'm going to grab the CSS right here. All right, so it looks like it's version 4.1.0, but I don't believe there's any breaking changes, and we're not using any JavaScript widgets or anything like that, so we should be fine. And we'll put this, let's see, let's put this, we can get rid of all these comments too, and we'll just throw that in there. We also need the JavaScript dependencies, so we need these 3 script tags. We'll copy those, and we're going to go down here. We can get rid of all these comments, and we'll paste that in right here, and we should be good. Let's save, and let's go back to our application, and we should see a little bit of a difference. Okay, so you can now tell that Bootstrap's enabled because of the font size, the margin. So Bootstrap's now enabled. Let's hit F12 and open up our console. Make sure there's no errors in here saying that it can't access any of the files or anything like that. Now I'm going to ask you to install 2 browser extensions. Okay, hopefully you're using Google Chrome. If not, I honestly don't use anything else, so I don't know if these extensions are available in Firefox or anything else, but I would suggest using Chrome and installing the React DevTools and the Redux DevTools. Okay, now the React DevTools is actually going to show you all your components. All we basically have is one app component, but it'll show you things like properties, it'll show your state, stuff like that for each component. The Redux is much more important, and we'll be using this a lot more. Now notice it says no store found. Make sure to follow these instructions, okay? And don't bother clicking on this yet because we haven't even set up Redux. That's not going to be for a few more videos, but I would suggest getting these installed now. So if you search for React DevTools Chrome, okay, so right here, just go ahead and install that, and then also Redux. You want the Redux DevTools. I think this is it. Yeah, so you want this as well. All right, so it will look like this once we get it set up. It's a little different than other extensions. It's not going to work right away. Even when we set up Redux, we have to do some special stuff within the code to enable it. All right, but we'll get to that much later. I just would suggest installing it now and getting it over with, just so you have it set up. All right, so now I think we can stop here now that we have Bootstrap set up. We have we got rid of some of the boilerplate stuff. One thing I want to do is also set up Font Awesome. So we're going to use the CDN as well. So let's go to fontawesome.com, get started, and let's grab this script tag here so we can use the SVG icons. All right, and then we'll go back to our index.html, and we'll put this right below the Bootstrap link that we added. Okay, so we'll paste that in there, and now we should have access to Font Awesome. All right, and then the last thing I want to do in this file is just change the title to Dev Connector. So we'll say Dev Connector, let's say a social network for developers. All right, and I'm pretty sure that that is all we need to do at all in this file for the rest of the course. Everything else is going to come through React, which comes through this div right here with the ID of root. So we'll save that. Everything should compile successfully, and if we go to our application, you can notice that the title now says Dev Connector, a social network for developers. All right, so that's it, guys. In the next video, we're going to start to create some components. We want the layout components, which will be the nav bar, the footer, and we might get to the landing page as well, the landing component. All right, so thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.